Hello, my lovely students of class 6 standard to the students. Today I am going to start a very beautiful poem, and the name of the poem is Lines Written in Early Spring. What is the name of the poem? Lines Written in Early Spring, and it's been written by a very famous nature poet, William Wordsworth. Yes, students, this poem is being written by the very famous nature poet, and he was very much inclined towards nature. He loved nature, and that is why he's also been named or termed as the nature poet. And the name of the poet is William Wordsworth. So it's chapter number 8 from your English reader book. Okay, that is name of the chapter is Lines Written in Early Spring. Right. So when I say spring, so spring means when I talk about that in Hindi we say as Basant Ritu or the spring. Now these above is this the name of the season. Now in the early spring means as soon as the spring started, the season or the month of spring started. Now this poem is being written that time only. Okay, students. Now as usual, you know me, I have divided this poem into two parts. There are totally six stanzas in this poem. Six stanzas in this poem, and all the stanza it consists of four lines. Students, let me tell you the poem which consists of four lines. Okay, the four lines poem is always termed as quatrains. The four lines poems are always termed as quatrains. Like see, 1, 2, 3 and 4 lines. Okay, now जो भी stanza में poem में सिर्फ 4 lines होता है, in each stanza, that type of stanzas are termed as quatrains. Now let me read the poem, and I will explain you summary wise. Look at the first stanza. I have just written here Roman number 1, as you can see clearly. Part 1, Roman number 1. Now read this poem to find out how nature evokes. Evokes means this it kinds of ignites. एक जागरूक करता है, जगाता है thought, an intense emotional response in the poet, and makes him reflect on how human beings treat each other. So you can also say that this particular poem, it would be the comparison between the comparison between I cannot call it as a sweet comparison, let us say as a bitter comparison. Okay, एक कड़वा comparison, एक तुलना between man and the nature, man versus nature, or you can also say vice versa, nature versus man. And here you might have understood this is a theme of the poem, students. Here the poet is comparing, okay, the attitude of the nature with the attitude of the man. So man versus nature, and somewhere or the other poet, and who is a poet here? Never forget William Wordsworth. Very beautifully and very intensively, seriously, he is comparing the attitude between the nature and the man. And let's see whom he is defining well or good, nature or the man. That's a suspense. Now come to the first stanza. I heard 1,000 blended notes. Now, before starting the stanza, let me tell you one very short introduction about it. Lines Written in Early Spring is a landscape poem full of nature poem that is largely concerned with nature. As the poet sits there and muses on nature, admires nature, feel very good about nature, its beauty and its seamless existence, जो हम लोग के आसपास है, which we cannot deny it. Deny means जिसको हम लोग मना नहीं कर सकते, झूठ नहीं कर सकते हैं, because it's a reality. His thoughts turn briefly to the misery of man, or you can also say the misery of man, the sadness of man, and do the miseries that they would wrought on each other, and that is upon each other. So here the poet is making a comparison between man and the nature, or the nature between nature and man, and of course he is admiring nature here. Now come to first stanza. I heard 1,000 blended notes. while in a groove I sat reclined. So here the two line explanation I will do. I heard. I means who is the narrator, your speaker, your poet himself. He heard 1,000 blended notes. So one day he was walking, maybe a forest or maybe in a park or the wooden landscape area, where he started hearing something like blended means, like blend means to mix all mixtures of sounds of like music, while in a, while in a stove, it I sat, okay, recline. Now groove means what? You can also pronounce it as groove. Groove means he saw a big thick tree, और उसी पेड़ के झुंड में के नीचे, okay, in the shade of the tree he sat. I sat reclined. Reclined means, see, I have written some meanings also. Under a tree, and reclined means, when you recline means what? Reclining means when you just to put your back onto that like support. अगर हम लोग चेयर पे रिक्लाइन करते हैं तो अपना वो पीठ, द बैक, वी जस्ट रेस्ट ऑन द चेयर. और नाउ हियर द पोएट इज, एज यू कैन सी हिम, he is resting under the groove of the tree, and he's relaxed and chillaxed, and he's just resting, because that particular environment made him so relaxed, so smooth thoughts and all that. So he thought कि अब बहुत हम चल लिए, now I should rest under a tree. Okay, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts. Now, as soon as he started reclining, resting under the shade of a tree, pleasant thoughts started coming. But see the last line, bring sad thoughts to the mind. Now here, two thoughts poet is describing. Okay, first one is a pleasant thoughts, good thoughts, pleasantry thoughts. एक अच्छा सोच. कभी कभी होता है हम लोग रेस्ट करते हैं, so we think a lot of good thought, but suddenly with the flicker of the mind, again you start thinking some negativity or some bad things or some bitter thoughts भी आने लगता है मन में. So here also the poet, when he sat or when he started resting under the shade of the tree and he reclined himself with the support of the tree, he started feeling very relaxed, and good thoughts started coming. Again, after some time, again he started thinking negativity of the world, negativity of his personal life. It could be कुछ ना कुछ वो गलत सोच भी आने लगा in the poet's mind. Come to the second stanza, my dear students. Look at the second stanza, my dear students. To her fair works did nature link. To her, that means her means your poet is talking about nature. Fair works means good deeds, कुछ अच्छा काम. Nature link. The human soul that through me ran. So that means which is me, which is inside me. That means here in these two lines, I think you can properly understand and you can coordinate or correlate. Here the poet is describing or linking the thought of the nature or the deeds of the nature with the deeds of the man. Yes, the deeds of the nature. Now he is telling or he is defining, or he is able to calculate here the nature work as a good work and the human soul as not that good, or a human soul, or he may be comparing between the nature and the human soul. Okay, that is it can be human soul that through me ran. So he thought that the good deeds जो कि अच्छा काम एक nature link कर रहा है, okay, through nature, when we are able to see such an admiring or amazing nature, okay, beautiful scenery around us. So ये कहीं ना कोई अच्छा सोच हमारे मन में भी है, सोल में भी है, अंतरात्मा में भी है. So we should, it's like our inner thought, and much it grieved my heart to think. मीन्स, और इतना सैडनेस, और हम लोग कभी बहुत बुरा भी सोचते हैं अपने मन में, what man has made of man. Now this one particular line you will find that he is repeating many a times when I will tell you rest of the stanza. What man has made of man, what man has made to man. ये नेचर जो इतना अच्छा काम करता है, नेचर इज डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क, and making us, making us think positive. But what man is doing for us, man to ek dusre man ko, one man is hurting other man, one man is killing other man, and a lot of negativity in our manhood. But look at this nature, this plaintive nature, simple nature. Look at the flowers, the trees, the tuning of the nature, the musical crown of the nature, as if everything is relaxing us. But what are we doing? Are we relaxing ourselves, or is one man helping the other man? This is it, students. So I have completed part 1. Part 2 I will do in the next class. Before leaving the class, once again, let me summarize stanza 1 and 2. Okay, I don't believe in, just running up with the chapters. I will go slowly and gradually, because I want everybody to be understanding what I want to say. Okay, and we have to implement in our own lives. So understanding is more important than completing the course, I guess. So this is how it is. Now let me do the summary of part 1. Only 2 stanza summary I'm telling you right now. Please hear me properly. So in these two stanza, if I will club it together, I described about the poet. Here, the poet describes his experiences in a beautiful spot of nature. He was reclining in a beautiful shady place and listening to the mixed music of birds and other sounds. He was in such a sweet mood as brought sad thoughts to his mind. He was sad that man had been very cruel to man. And yes, it is. He felt that there was a link, which I talked in my second stanza, link one. He felt that there was a link between nature and the human soul. Okay, guys, thank you for watching my channel. I mean, if you really liked it, and if it has touched your heart, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.